Our society asks that what's the result, end result, what's the income that he'll get, what's the guarantee, you know, these scripts. And if success must come in these fields, it must come by 22, 24. So you see, you're not raising an athlete, you're raising a spectator, because a lot of sports we just like working on pre-written templates. So if I take the example of China, earlier there were like no medals from an Olympic standpoint of view. Now they are head to head with the Americans on an Olympic level. We don't like thinking in terms of long-term systems. I have to draw a parallel. China is killing in the Olympic level because they're building genuine world-class athletes, and we're just hoping for miracles in sports. But there's a whole ecosystem that needs to be created on a lot of levels so that we can also dominate on the global level in a lot of things while having such a population. And then you see that if I go back to China, because we are similar in a population size and also in a youth demographics per se. Yo guys, namaskaram. So this video was long in the making after the whole Messi tour incident, and I don't know, I was just thinking a lot through certain things, and then I read certain things wherein a person was saying that I can create 10, 20 Messis, which is I think true, because the level of funding that was just wasted on PR is quite insane. But then I just thought about a lot of things, and I thought how other sports also suffer, because the core problem that we're trying to come at is not a lot of funding is given to football, which is technically a different sport from cricket. And I just thought that okay, let's make a video as to why we obsess so much with cricket and why all other people just keep on suffering. So I've had a lot of friends who have represented India from a hockey perspective, even won medals, silver medal, gold medal, and all of that. And when I talk about structural problems, they all agree to a lot of things. Probably this video just wants to go at the psychological reasons as to our obsession with cricket and how it's killing every other sport. Just to give a disclaimer, this is not an attack on cricket, but just giving other sports also that much importance, and just understanding from a thinking perspective that why we love monopolizing just one thing, one business. So we like to call ourselves a sports loving nation, but in reality, we are a cricket consuming nation with a country of 1.5 billion people. All its putting funds, dreams, attention, all of it is just put on this one sport. Parents want their children to become a famous cricketer and things like that. So that's, I feel, a psychological problem, and we'll just go deeper into the mindset. One sport, like one ecosystem, only one monopoly would exist, and everything else, be it athletics, football, hockey, wrestling, boxing, swimming, they just survive on scrapes, luck, and a lot of personal sacrifice. So recently, I was watching a post wherein a national team was walking in a general trains compartment. Then there was not even proper hygiene or toilet facility. How the hell would they compete in sports on a national level and things like that? So we'll just understand that this one habit is costing us a lot, and it is just killing the ecosystem for a lot of other great giants that can come onto the world stage. Because it's not that we don't have talent, it's just a problem of culture, psychology, and we just don't want to nurture the talent and a lot of other deeper problems as well. So, see, I think if I go at it, the root of it, cricket helped us to get a template that is replicable for success. Success here means lot of fame, lot of money, and things like that. So earlier we got easy international access as well as success in this sport. There's a colonial legacy that is attached to our country, unfortunately, since the Britishers ruled us. And I think we wanted to prove a point that we can beat them at their sports. That is how this whole thing got so much traction. And then a lot of media also covered that we have defeated, let's say, quote unquote, the white people on their own sports and things like that. And you see, a lot of sponsorship from a corporate perspective is given to this one thing, and it also ties down to the hero worship syndrome that we have, that we like treating every individual who has achieved somewhat level of success as a hero. So once cricket showed that money plus fame plus stability, once you make your name, we locked ourselves onto it. If something worked once, don't question it, just keep on repeating it forever. That's the mindset with which we go at. I feel that's a scarcity mindset, because instead of creating a lot of abundance, a lot of opportunities, we just like working on pre-written templates. So if I take the example of China, earlier there were like no medals from an Olympic standpoint of view. Now they are head to head with the Americans on an Olympic level. We don't like thinking in terms of long term systems. I had recently made a video on long term thinking versus short term thinking, but just to link it to this point, I think we like thinking in miracles, not in terms of systems, that some divine grace have fallen on these people. We don't like building systems which can just recreate a lot of world class athletes on a lot of levels. We like waiting for heroes. So we can keep on celebrating all these Sachins, Dhonis, Kohlis, maybe Neeraj Chopras of the world if I take other sports. But we then forget to ask that how many other athletes have failed silently, how many athletes, or let's say para athletes, who have won in a lot of different capacities, what types of jobs are they doing? They don't even enjoy that level of stability. And a scene wherein a person who was a Paralympic gold medalist is running autos and things like that. So we just like celebrating success after it happens, but we don't like investing as to how we can make that happen time and time again. And just let's honor the legacy of a lot of these other athletes who have brought glory to the nation. We like clapping for medals, but we don't like funding the process that creates them. That's why success feels rare, because a lot of these people have worked extensively hard, a lot of personal investment, both from a capital perspective, time perspective. They've just risked it all. Unfortunately, because they were able to get so much glory, but talk specifically about Neeraj Chopra and PV Sindhus and these type of athletes, then they are recognized and then the world claps for them. But I don't know, like this whole ecosystem, we just don't like creating a lot of athletes all across the board. And then I think the realest problem is parenting, if I come at it, because see, Indian parents are not anti-sports, because if we are investing so much in one sport, probably there's a proclivity towards that. It's just that we don't like risking things. If I ask any Indian parent that what about sports career, what they hear in their mind is instability, failure. What embarrassment would he bring to a family? Financial insecurity. And to be honest, a lot of Indians are quote unquote middle class. They cannot afford that level of investments. That's why they don't like sending their children, because a lot of parents see their children as a tool to escape their own poverty and things like that. So cricket is like a sweet exception, because they have seen from their eyes that someone already made money, someone already succeeded. So I think subtly parents think that if he fails in cricket, at least it was cricket. Like, you know how weird it is, but that's how it is. This is the same mindset that goes behind engineering, that okay, at least pass your BTech, you'll do something. At least appear for government job, you'll have something. At least go into this arranged marriage, it would work somehow. So you see how this mindset of it would work somehow is very prevalent in our culture. Choose the safest path, even if it kills excellence. We don't want to create excellent world class people in any field for that matter. But anyhow, coming to one more thing which I feel is, in cricket there's a thing wherein we just like viewing things. So if I look at the psychology of it, we like producing viewers, not genuine athletes. In a country of 150 crore people or 1.5 billion people, we don't lack talent. We just lack the discipline to fail for 10 to 15 years, facing that uncertainty, rewarding ourselves for the long term. To become great as an athlete, you need long term training, a lot of effort which is invisible to the outside world, zero applause from anyone, and repeated failure. But our society asks that what's the result, end result? What's the income that he'll get? What's the guarantee? You know these scripts. And if success must come in these fields, it must come by 22, 24. So you see, you're not raising an athlete, you're raising a spectator, because a lot of sports require, like, they all have different varieties. People sometimes have sports in which people compete after 35, 40. So I'm not saying that you should not get your child early into sports, but probably the attitude is not investing along into long-term thinking. And I was just also hearing someplace that there was a person who was going for table tennis. So he had just started learning it after 35, 40. In his, like, the training area, a lot of people made their children enter those facilities when they were 10, 14. And then once they started knowing that there's like not a long-term career out of it, he won't get a stable government job, they started taking their children out of these things. So that's how it works. And then you see the whole ecosystem as to how the media covers it, because media only goes for things, they don't value truth, they go for things where there's a lot of masala, a lot of money to be made, because that is how their ecosystem keeps on surviving. So let's understand this. People watch cricket, advertisers fund cricket, media covers cricket, the sponsors invest in cricket, parents also push cricket, and kids follow cricket. Other sports never even enter this loop. Media gives them attention only after medals. There is a lot of silence during training years. But unfortunately, that's not the case with, I think, this one sport, because money follows this sport. So I feel we just don't like supporting and creating athletes. We just celebrate them accidentally. And the whole ecosystem as to how many weird cases exist of corruption and things like that, that people are just chosen because of jacks, not because of their competence or compatibility with the sport per se. So a lot of harsh ground realities exist. And then the whole infrastructure, if you see, in most Indian cities, you can find cricket grounds, but there are not any other grounds: Olympic swimming pools, proper athletics track, gymnastic halls, wrestling academies, if I can use the term. Though some are coming right now, but it's very very rare. Access is limited only to a few elitist center where only the most privileged people can go. A few lucky kids, a few exceptional coaches as well. Because to be honest, as a coach, not a lot of people would also want to invest their time if they see that the whole ecosystem is rigged against them. Because at the end, a lot of things come up on survival. So you see how inequality is created across the board on a lot of levels. And then if I just talk from a funding perspective, let's take cricket on one side and a lot of Olympic sports. Cricket receives massive private funding, continuous sponsorship, media protection, guaranteed returns that, okay, I can get this much. But other sports, fragmented government grants, inconsistent policies, poor long term planning. Compare this, as I took the example of China. China treats sport as a national discipline project, long term state investment, because from childhood, people are encouraged to compete at an Olympic level in a lot of things. And there's like a structured talent identification on a lot of things. Whereas we treat sport as entertainment, individual hustle, emotional movements. If I have to draw a parallel, China is killing in the Olympic level because they're building genuine world class athletes, and we're just hoping for miracles in sports. But there's a whole ecosystem that needs to be created on a lot of levels so that we can also dominate on the global level in a lot of things while having such a population. And then you see that if I go back to China, because we are similar in a population size and also in our youth demographics per se, Chinese consistently rack top in Olympic medals, right there with America. Whereas we even struggle to reach double digits, hardly 10, 15 medals. I feel it's not genetical, it's more about the mindset that one has, plus the system that enforces it, plus the governmental support, the policies that are enforced, and the patience that is needed to excel as a long term person in whatever endeavor you can. So I think they accept long term pain, centralized discipline, that this is what you have to do, and delay your gratification. Whereas we just like avoiding discomfort, uncertainty, and we hate slow progress. We just want everything fast on emotions and virals. So you see that a population without discipline just creates crowds, mobs, not genuine champions. And again, if I like look at it from a lot of developed countries that exist in the world, you see how it percolates to an individual level, because they create these individuals with an average individual in these countries would have at least somewhat basic discipline in their bodies, minds, and things like that. They would have resilient mind and they would have an attitude of being patient. But country with weak culture produces just emotional spectators who are just riding the waves of emotion. Armchair critics, because I've also seen a lot of people who are watching cricket critiquing that this is how he should have swinged the bat, thrown the ball, whereas they're just sitting with this heavy belly on the stands and worshipping like heroes. So we just like watching excellence that is acceptable by the common people, but not becoming excellent in that process, because becoming excellent in any field requires a lot of silence, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of boredom, and years of uncertainty, pain, and invisibility. So that's how it is. And then the core problem which I come at it is the abundance versus scarcity mindset. See, the obsession with cricket in India is the same mindset with the EMI lifestyles that we have, the safe careers, the herd following, the mob outrage. Scarcity mindset says that only one path works, you have to keep on competing, whereas abundance mindset asks this question that how can I create so many paths that there's just not a dearth of whatever I want in life. But to create that abundance, it requires patience. Don't lack money. We have seen with the Messi tour that how many crores we can bring out from our pockets if the need comes. But it's just about investing and prioritizing things from the right center. We need confidence in uncertainty and a lot of things, and dropping this hero culture. So now, what can you do as a, let's say, young man, if I can use this word? So see, if you want excellence, please stop chasing applause from the external world. Stop chasing validation that someone would validate me. Stop expecting a sort of certainty in your life. Real mastery in any field requires 10, 15, 20, maybe 25 years of anonymity. You need to be in love with the craft rather than be in love with all the success, fame, and whatnot you will be getting. You need to be disciplined without any praise and keep on suffering without any sympathy. There's a lot of suffering that needs to happen until you become a master. And to become strong, one must be very comfortable in training in silence. Because if you're clapping loudly and you feel that you can just be swayed to your emotions, anyone, your exploiters would just keep coming at you and keep on exploiting at you because they'll play with your emotions. If you're wanting to go into becoming parents and things like that, if you feel that you want to make your children go into the sports or whatever it is, don't kill your children's talent with what all would I get and all those standard scripts. Don't kill it with fear. Stop having these scripts in your mind that he must succeed quickly, he must earn early, he must prove everything, avoid failure. Take long term bets, because if you're just raising children for surviving and not expressing and living their life as an holistic individual, then you're doing a disservice to their potential. And we don't need more slogans, more emotional speeches, more useless debates. That what is it that would happen? We need people who can tolerate uncertainty, build systems that fund all these boring trainings, and just see facts as facts instead of being so emotionally rallied up in the smallest of things, and see how we are losing in the international sphere, and just start making up for those patterns, start making up for those things. Of course, it's a long term thing, but these are like some of my insights. So probably I think it's not like one sport that kills a lot of other sports existing in the background. It's just the whole mindset ecosystem behind it. A lot of fear, scarcity, and herd mentality. Until and unless we are a country who is just obsessed with safety, we will never produce champions, only crowds. If we want more Neeraj Chopras, more of the world-class athletes that exist, we must tolerate risk. And as young people, become those sort of people who can just keep on training and working without any sense of outside applause and things like that. Because until and unless we do that, we'll just keep watching sports like an outsider spectator. Not because it's the best sport, but because it's the safest dream. A lot of sports are just equal in their own record with different capabilities. But right now we treat as this one sport as superior to every other sport, which is not the case. Every athlete, every sports person has worked hard in their own craft. And any person for that matter, it's just not about sports in any field. It's just about recognizing people with their individual strengths, weakness, and then just start playing to your strengths and things like that. But yeah, this is a video. Let me know what you feel about it. Do feel free to write your own opinions, observations, what you feel, and most importantly, write what work you have done, how much limitations and weaknesses have you broken. I'll probably catch you in the next video. If you feel like having a one-on-one consultation with me on any topic that might be bothering you in a private setting, feel free to reach out. And yeah, this is Devishishwendra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. You take care. Cheers.